Hello and welcome to the Rose Street Saxophone Room Tone Production Series. In this video, I'm going to take you through one of my favorite breathing exercises. It's part of a routine that I do to kind of make sure that I'm establishing everything I need to with my breathing cavity and that I'm exercising those motions the best that I possibly can. We're going to split our breathing apparatus into three different dimensions. So we've got our horizontal or our X-axis, we've got our vertical or our Y-axis, then we've got our sagittal or our Z-axis. And we're just going to kind of split up our breathing into those three different dimensions. Some of these things that I'm going to ask you to do aren't necessarily physically possible, but they're just things that I want you to kind of notice or things that I want you to feel as you go through this exercise. So let's go ahead and start with our X-axis. So make sure that you found your good posture. You're not holding any tension anywhere. You've got your feet set up the way that you need to, and that you're ready to take a full breath. And then as we go through each of these motions, I want you to breathe in slowly through your nose, and then slowly out of your mouth. And as the reason that we're going slowly is I want you to feel every single little bit of expansion and every single little bit of contraction, so that way you know and that you're feeling every single motion that's happening as you breathe. I want you to imagine your left lung. Forget about the right lung. We don't care about the right lung right now. We are only going to breathe into our left lung. We're turning off all the nerve endings on the right side of our body and only breathing in our left. Feel free to move with me as you see fit. And in. Out. And in. And out. Do that one more time, and I want you to imagine each rib getting slightly further apart. And in. And out. Okay, that's it for the left side. Go ahead and move around a little bit. Forget what that feels like. Stay loose. And make sure we find our good posture. Make sure we're super planted. And now we're going to breathe into the right half of our body. And in through your nose. And out. Each breath, you should try to feel something a little different and a little more. And in. And out. And in. And out. Okay, go ahead and twist around, shake that out. And now, this next time, we're going to fuse both of our lungs together. We get to breathe with our full horizontal capacity. And now, each time you're going to start from the center of yourself, and as you expand outward, I want you to feel every single rib get a little bit further and further apart. From your top ribs all the way down to your bottom ribs. We just get this expansion outward. We're going to try that a few times. Go ahead and move with me. And in. And out. And in. And out. Under your arms, you might feel the most expansion. Like right here is where I really feel like I'm getting bigger. Like maybe I have wings and they're spreading out or something. And then right at the bottom of my ribs, I feel like I should be getting wider. Let's try that again. And in. One more. And. All right, go ahead and shake that out. Now that's it for the X-axis. Now we're going to go to our sagittal plane or our Z-axis. And now I want you to imagine that for some strange and alternate reality, our body's been cut in half vertically, and now we can only breathe through the front half of our body. How weird. What a strange world we live in. And now I want you to imagine like we've got our clavicle here and our sternum here, and as you breathe, you're going to feel some forward expansion. Maybe we're going to lift upwards, but we're going to feel like that we're leaning forward as we breathe this time. And in. Again, and in. Remember, each breath, as you breathe in slowly, you're feeling something different expanding in the area that we're isolating. Again, through the front half, and One more, and out. All right, good. Now I want you to go ahead and take your hands. You're gonna take the tips of your fingers, and you're gonna feel the top part of your pelvis, and then the heel of your hand is gonna be against your bottom rib. And then your thumbs are gonna kind of come over and squeeze the front of your bottom rib. As you breathe, I want you to feel like you're expanding into the lower half of your back. And slowly in. And in. Your kidney space should feel like it's expanding just a bit. And in. One more, and in. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and put both of those halves of our body back together. Now, as you breathe, I want you to imagine your sternum and your spine just separating further and further apart. If we were looking down on our own rib cage, you would see your ribs do this. Let's go ahead and try that. And in. And slowly in. Now this time I want you to think about how tall your rib cage is, how tall your spine is, and then the front of your ribs and your spine, all the way from the top to bottom, need to expand outward. Let's go ahead and try that again. And in. One more, and in. And out. We've covered our x-axis, and we've covered our z-axis. Now let's go ahead and cover our y-axis. And what we're going to talk about here, we're only going to breathe now into the lower half of our body. Now, this is something that I'm sure you've dealt with in band or in some kind of ensemble rehearsal where your directors are trying to get you to breathe deep, your teachers are trying to get you to breathe deep and low. But that's really only one aspect of this entire process. While this is familiar, I want you to kind of try to explore some new feelings and new sensations as you dig deep with some of these low and earthy breaths. And now I want you to imagine that you are a tree with roots digging as deep as you are tall. And now as you breathe, I want you to feel like you're getting heavier from the waist down. And in. Big, sturdy breath. And in. And again, and in. And out. Now, while that breath is probably one that feels really familiar to us, I want you to see if we can, as we do those again, or if you come back to this process, make sure that you're trying to dig a little bit deeper to how you would normally breathe deep or breathe from your diaphragm. We're trying to expand further than that and further define what the highest extent of what our current breathing capacity is. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the top half of our y-axis. And so now we're thinking about from our bottom rib up. I want you to think about a hot air balloon. It's completely deflated, lays flat on the ground. But as it fills up, it gets lighter and lifts into the sky. So now, as you breathe, I want you to feel yourself lifting off the ground. Don't actually get on your tiptoes, but we're going to get lighter. We're going to get a little bit taller. We're going to float away and in. And out. Float a little higher and in. And out. And one more time, and in. And out. All right, good. Let's go ahead and shake it out. Remind yourself of your posture if you need to. Make sure we're not locking our knees or we're not holding any stiffness in our legs or our shoulders or our back. And now, as we breathe this time, we're going to simultaneously feel like we're digging deeper into our roots and floating away. We want to make sure that we're grounded and sturdy, but filling all the way to the top and feeling a light sensation. We're breathing deep and we're breathing lightly. And in. Now this time I want you to feel like you're breathing into your guts. And in. Now this time I want you to breathe into your clavicle. Get lighter with the top half of your body as we stay grounded. And in. And one more. Thanks for staying with me. And now what we got to do, we can't think about each individual three-dimensional space whenever we're breathing in real time or we're actually doing something musically functional. So now, as you breathe, we're going to try to access all three of these dimensions. Now go ahead, take a moment to remind yourself what it feels like to expand your ribs horizontally, to expand your sternum and spine sagittally, and to expand your body vertically, and how we're going to put all of those things together. So I want you to imagine where all three of those points may intersect on the inside of yourself, and we're going to start from a very tiny space in the middle of our lungs. We're going to take just this imaginary sphere of air and fill it until it's larger than ourselves, and then we're going to slowly bring it back in until it's back into the center. And in. And out. Feel free to move so that you stay loose and don't hold any tension. And in. And out. One more time. And in. And out. Make sure that we're filling every single corner and nook and cranny of space in our breathing apparatus. One more time, and in. And out. All right, let's go ahead and chill. And now you may notice that you have a little bit more focus. If you had a cup of coffee before you were doing something like this, maybe you feel a little bit more caffeinated and a little bit more calm. How cool is that? But what we've done here, this is just a breathing warm-up. This is an exercise to help further define how much air you can physically take in. And now whenever you do breathing exercises, after you've defined this amount of space, you have a responsibility to make sure you're using the maximum amount of space you can. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next tone production video.